Hello everyone, welcome to our tutorial on how to move your ships in Vassal and how to manipulate your dial. So when you import your squad, you'll get your dials here placed at the top. A couple of things. Your hand, the number one, yellow number one square that lets you see all these things, because I'm player one, is public knowledge. So first thing you need to do, I suggest before you decide what maneuver you're going to perform, you want to highlight your dials and press Control R. Control R is the shortcut for reveal. Now currently they are not revealed. How do you know that they're not revealed? You see this little copy of the ship right there on top. So for your opponent, if they're looking at your hand right now, all they see is the crimson red back of the dial. They can't see anything else. And they also see the little picture of the ship. So now that our dials are secret, we can change them. How do we change them? So let's say I want to manipulate Ray first. I click on her dial and I use either the comma or the period to shuffle through my options. There we go. You see all the dial. I'm going to set it to a 2 straight. West, we're going to leave here at a 3 straight. So now what you do, you highlight your dials when you're done planning, and you bring it to the board where your ships are. I'm going to rearrange these because they're in the out of order. So when their turn comes to go, what you're going to do, choose. They're both pilot scale 8. So we're going to move Ray first. You're going to highlight that dial again, and you're going to use Control R to reveal your dial. Boom. There's another way to do that also. If you right-click on the dial, you'll notice the very bottom option for the menu that pops up is Reveal. I just think that Control R is faster. So how do we move the ship to forward? We click on the ship, and we can use the right-click option to go to Template Move, to forward, or we can use the shortcuts that I've typed out right here for you on the right side. So to go forward, you use Shift and the number, so the speed. So we're going to go Shift 2. There we go. Ray just moved. Then we would perform her action. So how do you perform actions in Vassal? You have a couple of options. When you spawn a squad, it gives you your focus, your evades, and everything else you need, your target locks as well. I personally really like using the tokens. I'll drag them out, put them on there. You could even keep them, on the side of the board. If you zoom out here, you can keep them on the side of the board when you're not using them. I just think it's the most similar to real gameplay, and they're more easily visualized. The other option you do have is to click on your ship again. You can go right-click, and where it says actions here, you can cycle through options. So here is Shift A to cycle through your first action. Let's do that. Shift A. And you'll notice this little focus icon pops up there on the side. If I continue to press Shift A, it'll cycle through my options. Okay. Whether I drop the bomb, use my EBT, use an illicit, and then eventually it goes away. If you just press Control Z, it makes it disappear. Now, why did it say cycle option, action 1, action 2? Let's say you had pushed the limit, okay? So you use Shift A for your first action, and then Control A for the second action. So let's say I went focus, and somehow I was able to get an evade or something like that. That would be one way to do that instead of using the tokens. I personally like using the tokens, but to each their own. How do you boost? Well, you boost just like you did a move. So if you want to do a forward 1 boost, you would do Shift 1. If you wanted to do your left bank boost, you would do Control and then the number. Right bank, Alt, and then the number. So let's move west. Shift 3 to get that. Oh, let's reveal the dial. Reveal the dial. Shift 3. We would do our action. Let's say we wanted to target lock. How do we do that? Well, first, let's say we had let's pretend that this Ray is an enemy ship. Okay. So Wes, first thing he has to do before he can actually give the target lock is he needs to make sure she's in range. How do we do that? Well, just like before, there's a shortcut for it, but I'm going to show you the, for sure way to find it If you go here to show firing arcs, the second option there is target lock. So you say show target lock. And you would get the rings, and it would show you, yes, Ray is in range. So you assign her that target lock, and then you can either use a shortcut or the right click option to make those rings go away. So the next action we'll talk about is the barrel roll. So how do we barrel roll? Well, just like most things in the game, you're going to right click on the ship that you want to barrel roll. This is of course assuming that Wes has vector thrusters. And you're going to right click and you're going to go to barrel rolls. Now in the barrel roll menu, it gives you the extremes. Your left as far forward as possible, so on and so forth. You can go right as well as backwards as possible, whichever one of the extremes you want. Let's say you want to do something kind of in the middle. What you do is you press on the right click menu the place mid barrel roll template. You put it on the side you want, and then very simply click on the ship and place it along the barrel roll template where you want. Now you've done your barrel roll. Now let's say next turn Wes dials in a 4 forward. And you know that he's going to bump Ray. How do we fix that? Do we have to manually fix it? No. Vassal has an awesome feature called auto bumping. So all you do, you make sure the ship that bumped is highlighted. You hit the letter C on your keyboard for collision, and it will put it back in that perfect spot. Now this template that shows up, you just highlight it, Control D to make it delete. It's easy as that. So that is how you perform actions. That's how you move your ships with basic movements, deal with collisions, and manipulate the dial in the X-Wing Vassal module.